Hello, and this is Impact 2022, our continuing conversation where we talk about just different topics, where we talk about what's going on in the news, where we talk about race, where we talk about just individual topics. And as for y'all of y'all who have joined us before, y'all know this is a continuing conversation. So feel free to type your questions and your comments into the comment section. And as always, we will address them as they pop up. And just feel free to be a part of the conversation. And this day is like every other, and we're gonna hop right into it. And so I'm gonna basically tell you what we're gonna do here. We have a guest, and we're gonna go through our topic. So let me set it up for you, and then we will jump right in. So here's what's happened lately. Earlier this year, on February 20th, Juwan Howard, basketball coach for Michigan, college basketball coach for Michigan, threw a punch at the opposing team's assistant coach. Didn't connect, but he threw a punch at the opposing team's assistant coach. That happened on February 20th. This year, Kanye West, who is in the process of divorcing his wife, she filed papers to divorce March 21st of last year. Kim Kardashian, this is very well known. He's been harassing his wife online, according to reports, Instagram reports, where he's been threatening her boyfriend, threatening to harm him and hurt him. And he's also discussed his public struggles with mental health, and he's basically been shown to have shown aggression online. And what just happened last week, Will Smith slapped comedian Chris Rock in the face at the Oscars. This happened on March 27th. Juwan Howard suspended for the regular season in the college basketball, was fined $40,000. Kanye West was not allowed to perform at the Grammys, and he just recently dropped out of the Coachella music festival, because of public pressure. And Will Smith had to resign from the Academy of Motion Pictures and Arts and Sciences, and the production of one of his Netflix films has been put on pause. And so I say those because these incidences of these Black men is having negative results on their personal lives and careers. So, all right, and now I'm gonna bring in my guest. I'm gonna tee this up, but basically, people have talked about masculinity. They talked about jokes about this. They've talked about alopecia when they talk about Will Smith, workplace violence, all these different things. What I want to focus on, though, is mental health when it comes to Black men with this. As you saw what happened with Juwan Howard, you saw what happened with Kanye West, you saw what happened with Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. Mentally, is there a problem that we're having with Black men and mental health? So I have Steve and I have Will here. We're going to start off. Thank you, fellas, for joining us. I'm going to start off with you, Steve. When you look at these situations, and you can go ahead and speak to any one of them and your reaction to them, what do you think about Black men and our mental health situation? Just give me your reaction there.
Well, first of all, what's happening, Will? What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
My man, I ain't seen you in a minute, dog.
I just been here.
Good to see you, man. For real, this is really good to see you, dog.
Yeah.
But
I can talk about all this stuff.
Yes, indeed. So, I mean, being African American male, sometimes you grow up with big brothers, fathers, uncles that tell you not to cry, suck it up, and be a man, be strong, be tough. And what happens, men keep all that anger and frustration and emotion bottled up sometimes, and they don't have a continuous practice on how to release it appropriately. So sometimes I don't know the Juwan Howard situation. I'm not in any of their lives, so I really can't speak for them. But being a teacher, being myself, and just noticing things, and being an African American male, sometimes we're taught to do that, and we bottle up all that emotion and all that frustration, and eventually it comes out. And sometimes it doesn't come out the right way, and it comes out all at one time. And sometimes in the Black community, you know, they say therapy is taboo, or, you know, you crazy if you go to therapy and things like that. But that's just a false narrative. That's not true at all. You can't call anybody crazy that has some things they have to deal with. You know, it's dismissive. I remember when Dave Chappelle was, you know, having a couple of interviews, and everybody was saying he was crazy by going to Africa and everything like that. And he said maybe the individual's not crazy, maybe the environment is. So, you know, sometimes people grow up in situations that they shouldn't be growing up in, and they're just becoming a product of their environment, and therapy helps to relieve that.
Yeah. Good. I think you made a great point there when you talk about Black men like holding stuff in and not being taught. So, Will, but you know what? We're making assumptions. Will, what do you think? Do you think? All right, looking at Kanye West, Juwan Howard, Will Smith. Do you think it's a mental health thing, or you think it's just some dudes acting crazy?
How deep you want to go here?
Take it to how you feel. Like, I mean, because honestly, that's for some people, they looked at Will Smith and they was just like, oh, nah, he's trying to show out. And then other people are like, oh, nah, he having a breakdown. And then some people are looking at Kanye and just like, oh, yeah, Kanye's just crazy. Or they're like, okay, he having a mental health breakdown. Or Juwan Howard. Like, you showing way too much aggression as a basketball head coach. Like, this ain't throwing a punch, wasn't even the first thing. So when you see these guys, do you think, all right, maybe their mental isn't right? Or you think it's something else?
I think I'm gonna go deep with y'all. This is just the product of the strategic breakdown of a Black man. I'll just start with Will Smith. Let's just start with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. What did that teach us? You saw that Will Smith was the cool kid, the one who had no father raised from the projects. They came to Bel-Air. They made Carlton the Square. They made Hillary the dumb one, and then the two other kids. But they had both parents came from the wealthy side. So it starts from when we started off watching as we grew up, we watched shows like Cosby Show, Different World, Different Strokes. It shows families and homes and problems brought home and fixed at home. Then as you start watching TV now, do you see any positive shows now? I don't watch TV anymore. I don't watch Power. I don't watch any of them shows because I'm tired of demonizing Black folks. There's other ways that we can make money out here. We ain't got to be drug dealers, dope dealers, club owners. You know what I'm saying? There's other ways to make money out here, but they don't ever show that. Like even like I said, and the Will Smith thing, I think he's a clown for that. Because I understand you fight for your queen, but she's not your queen. She's from the streets. Let's keep it 100. Like, she dragged this man, made this man a meme. Now, was that part of all the breakdown of y'all keep making me memes, and now I gotta show my masculinity to all these white folks and make us African Americans look like niggas again? I ain't mean to say that word, but that's what it kind of looked like.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And Chris Rock, the one who maintained and stayed in his African American mode, didn't go back to what he was raised to. He looks like the bad guy, and people are applauding Will Smith. Like, what is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like Dave Chappelle said, why his last episode is on the close and why he stopped doing it. He said, because the world's becoming a whole bunch of soft. People can't even take jokes no more. You can't say anything. Mm-hmm. If you watch the tape, Will Smith laughed. Everybody laughed.
Yeah. So, Rand, we have a comment. I'm gonna look at that. It says the environment has a tremendous impact on one's mental health. So, from your perspective, from both of y'all perspective, let's just specifically let's parse them out here. And we're looking at Will Smith.
Or you can look at Kanye.
Or Kanye.
What's Kanye doing? What's Kanye doing wrong?
Do we think that that's a mental health situation?
No, I think he's being a good parent. For the flip side is this. Pete Davis, he's already been on TV letting you know I got mental health issues. He don't have any kids. He jokes around with stuff like that with a parent. I don't want someone like that around my child and my children. I understand the Kanye part with Pete Davidson, and I don't understand all the other stuff with but the Pete Davidson thing, I wouldn't want anybody like Pete Davidson around my children.
Yeah, but do you think it's okay to and for anybody who's not up on all of this, and so in the Kanye West situation, what they're saying is that his harassing, what he's been doing as far as Twitter, Instagram, making threats towards Davidson and saying different things towards his ex-wife, are patterns and shows examples of how people act sometimes in relationships, in those ex relationships of harassing, of threatening, of building up an environment of intimidation. And so when we look at that, and especially from a Black man perspective, is that the kind of activities that we want our kids to be doing? And so is that you think it's just some dudes acting up, or is it mental health? Steve, I want you to jump in. So how do you feel? Is it dudes acting up, or is it mental health?
And it's hard to say what's mental health or not, because not all three of us, we don't know Kanye. So it's hard to say, and I'm not a therapist. Mm-hmm. I don't have a degree in mental health, and I'm not a psychologist. So it's hard to say, yeah, he's having a mental breakdown when,
Oh no, he's having a mental breakdown
himself to all these years. This is not surprising to me. And you got to also think, in the comment, it's an environment. So I'm sorry, but every time somebody gets with a Kardashian, there's some stuff that happens. Listen, I mean, that could be his environment that's making him behave this way. Yeah. And then with what Will said, okay, with you being a public eye, looking at Pete Davidson and how he does things, maybe I wouldn't want my kids around that either. But it's one of those situations where who are we surrounding ourselves with? Like, who has been our influence in our mind and our heart? Like, where's this energy coming from? Mm-hmm. So it's hard to say, yeah, that's Kanye. He's having a mental breakdown. No, I don't know. I don't know. But he's been kind of acting like this since his mom passed away. Before that, he was, everybody loved Kanye. He was the fun guy. But, since his mom passed, I've had some people pass, my father passed, and things change when you lose a parent. Mm-hmm. So, it's no telling. I can't judge him on that. But I do think his environment, and then being a massive celebrity, having anything you want at all times, money doesn't fix everything. Money can sometimes make things worse. So in my opinion, I don't think I just think it's his environment.
No, he's having a mental breakdown. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna let you know here. Now, my mother's a psychologist, and rest in peace, my stepfather was a psychiatrist. No, he's mentally unstable, and he's letting the world know that. If you listen to his music or watch a movie, he's telling you something wrong with me. Mm-hmm. I'm screaming for help. I just don't know how to get it. But me, I've had psychologists and stuff like that, and it's when you're trying to pick a psychologist, who can relate to him? When you know what I'm saying, I can't. As Kanye, I'm worth $9.1 billion. That's what they say. Just what can a person who makes $550, maybe $250,000 tell me about life and my life, what I'm going through? A psychologist who has a normal life ain't having a life like Kanye. Do I believe he's going crazy? Yes. Fame is crazy. And then you pick the craziest family to have kids by. They drove the white hope to become a white woman. Mm. If that ain't enough to show you enough craziness right there, that was the man who was on the Wheaties. He was beating Africans, and now he's a white woman.
That's you know what
they drove that man to become a white woman.
So interesting. Those are interesting points. I'm gonna go back to this comment that we have here. So
I'll look at the comments.
Let me put it up before I so the comment says, let us keep in mind that Chris Rock's concerts are now sold out, which is a very good point. Chris Rock has benefited off of this, but I'm gonna go back to.
Do you know why he benefited for it? Because he stayed in character. Now, if he would have acted a fool, do you think he would have still had these things go up like this? So see, him being the man and not being being the black man and not being
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Versus, see what happened. I did it the right way. I'm getting money. Will Smith, well, you know.
Right. And
It
so
makes
that's
me
the
not.
point
I'm
I want to hit back on.
I can't even look at Will Smith the same way. I
Yeah.
don't even want to watch any of the stuff right now.
And that's the point I want to hit back on, because Will Smith, Netflix, man, they don't pause his production.
He deserved
Kanye West,
to.
you just left you can't do the Grammys, you can't do Coachella, and Juwan Howard got suspended. I mean, it wasn't that big a deal with $40,000. So I say to y'all, thinking about these dudes is getting, you know, I mean, they're rich. So I mean, their hurt and our hurt is two different things. But thinking about our kids now, thinking about young kids in the Black community, and you're seeing how these guys are getting hurt. Chris Rock is doing great, but the rest of them, except for we don't know Chris Rock's mental health on this, because after you get slapped in public, like that's a different ballgame. But if we're looking at kids and we're looking at, all right, this is what happens when you act out in public. What's the message to our youth? What's the message to other Black men who are our age, who may be dealing with stuff or struggling with stuff? Like, all right, what are y'all supposed to do? Like, what's the message when if a little kid come up to you and ask you about these situations? What's your
I was taught if anybody put their hands on me, you put their hands on them back. So I would have handled it totally different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm different from Tony. I mean, from Chris Rock. But Chris Rock has 10 brothers, so he probably like, I ain't got to worry about this. Y'all got me. You know what I'm saying? You saw what Tony Rock did. You know, it's a social media era. You get hurt more on social media nowadays than in real life.
Yeah.
You know, like I just throw this out there. This Deshaun Watson situation.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. What I thought was innocent to prove it guilty. You're guilty to prove it innocent because of social media era. So life is different now. What we grew up like is different from what's growing up like now. I could tweet something. Got more power than anything.
Yeah, true. Well, Steve, I'm gonna roll you. You know, little kid come up to you. He talking about all these situations that's going on. Not little kid, but you know what I'm saying, like a youth. Mm-hmm. You know, or even somebody, you know, our age. What are you saying when they're like, man, what's going on with Black people, man? What's going on with our Black men?
Well, you know what? One thing that that bothers me, you know, I'm an educator, I'm a teacher, taught elementary to middle school.
You're a good one.
College work.
You're a good one.
Hey, I'll tell you, it's rough.
You're a good one. Y'all get paid enough.
You know, on social media and Facebook, I have teacher friends and I have teachers I worked with years ago and just, you know, teachers I meet. And some of them were Team Will, right? And I'm like, you're teaching children to not fight back in the situation, to take the high road, and you're praising Will Smith. And some of these people are teaching our children. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's frustrating because it's like it's a massive contradiction. You know, they're on the playground playing. Oh man, Jimmy hit me. What'd you do back? I hit him back. Okay, now the fight. Now they're both suspended. Where we teach them, if Jimmy hits you, you let me know. Let me handle it. Mm-hmm. So now these people praising Will Smith, these educators or mothers, fathers, whoever, like, yeah, you should have did that. You was right. It's like, okay, now your kid's looking at you. Oh, I'll do that too then. Because, you know, influence on children is crazy. People don't understand. They're sponges. They're really sponges from that preschool all the way to like 5, all the way to like 10, 11 years old. They're sponges. So, of course, you know, all three of us were in middle school. When we get to middle school, we think we can do things on our own. So when the sponge kind of shrinks. But from that primary level, like you see something or hear something and you're a child, you're going to mimic it or you think it's okay. So, you know, if kids do know about it. I mean, my 5th graders talk about it all week. So it's like, you know, now that's something I have to manage because I'm a behavior guy. So when I hear that situation, let me tell you what we do here. Let me tell you what we should be doing as a society, as good people. This is what should happen, you know? And so it's a lot of correction going on. And like Will said, Will Smith is hurt. He hurt my feelings. And you know, we Fresh Prince cats. You know,
I can't watch.
Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince.
Can't watch
you know,
them.
parents just don't understand. That's our guy, and he disappointed me massively.
Yeah, he did.
We got to hold on, Will, before you respond. I got a comment here, and it says that's not the first time Rock called Jada out like that.
So
I know two wrongs don't make a right, and Will felt he was defending his wife.
What wife? But she's not a wife. That's what I'm saying. She's not a. That's not to me. She's not. Even though I would still be upset if he would have said something disrespectful to Michelle Obama and Barack did something like that, I would still be offended. But I'm like, okay, she's a queen. That's not a queen. She's for the streets. You know what I'm saying? She had demasculated this man in front of the world. You know what I'm saying? In front of the world, made her mean. And now hurt your pockets now.
Good point. We got these comments rolling in. I'm trying not to miss them. All right, let's not forget we're looking at mental. The question for us as the church or as Black and as Black, I guess, men, is what is going on in your life, in your head that causes these certain behaviors. Good point. I'm going to preface that by some information. According to some of the mental health organizations, they've said that over the last 2 years, because of what's going on with COVID, what's going on with police killings, mass protests, the economy, the number of Black people who have gone to seek out therapy, this is good news, has significantly increased. It's also bad news because the number of Black people who have sought out therapy has significantly increased because they're saying that Black men are stressed out. They're saying that Black people are stressed out. They're saying
We
all
are.
people are stressed out. But because of this conversation is us, we're talking about Black men. And I'm gonna bring this comment back up. Stressed out, isolation, and isolation is one of the biggest parts of it because we were isolated, we got stressed out. Do you think that some of these issues is because of stress? And do you feel or see other men, Black men, people are stressed out? Will, I know you just said they are. Steve, I'm gonna go to you first. Do you feel like everybody people are stressed out and that's what's causing some of this stuff?
Without a doubt. Like I said at the beginning, when you have all that frustration and emotion bottled up, and you're not distributing, getting it out and distributing it where it should be, it's going to explode. It's like a volcano. I mean, we all did that science project, or saw that science project on how a volcano works. It's pressure. When pressure builds up, it has to go somewhere. One thing, water is one of the most powerful elements. When you have a lot of water and it can't get out, once you open that way, that stream, that opening, water's going to a tsunami. It's just going to happen. So what happens is people need to talk it out. Men need to talk it out, and it's nothing wrong with therapy. You have to, especially in the church, people should feel safe in the church with their pastors, with their deacons, with their membership groups. People have to, men especially, we have to feel comfortable in order to do that. And sometimes we don't feel comfortable. So if we don't feel comfortable, it's not going to happen. Hence, more pressure building up. So, I'm a strong advocate for therapy. And during this time, people lost their jobs, people lost their families, people have passed away, parents, brothers, sisters, uncles, grandmothers. They have passed away rapidly in mass numbers in the last 2 years. Yes, Black men are stressed out because we're taught to be strong, we're taught to be the foundation. Yeah, we're stressed out. And some of us have been blessed not to go through all of that. I mean, I lost my grandmother during the pandemic, almost got laid off, things like that. But, I have a community around me where I can vent, I can talk it out and not be judged. People are afraid to be judged or labeled as well. And, in order to have successful therapeutic situations, you got to build that comfort level.
Yeah. Will, same thing. You feel like people stressed out?
There's nothing more stressful than being a Black man in America. One blanket period. That's the easiest thing to say. We the most targeted thing in the world. I mean, a simple traffic stop, you might not make it home.
Yeah,
Simple as that. We the only a black man is the only person who could say that. There's no other race, a person to say that a traffic stop, you might not make it home. You don't hear about white people getting shot, Chinese people getting shot, or Arabic. No, a black man is public enemy number one in the world, in the eyes of the world. Of course, it's stressful. Adding on now, I had to sit for like 2 years, so pandemic didn't do nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm an electrician, so I wasn't out of work. Construction kept going. But for other people, I saw it hurting them. You know what I'm saying? I saw it hurting them. I just was able to deal with it differently because I've been in isolation before, but you know, just being black in America is stressful. Period. I just left a place today. It's first warm day. Someone already got killed over Brooklyn Park, over in North Side. You know what I'm saying? As soon as I went to go get something to eat, boom.
Yeah.
Already, it's the first warm day.
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
The first warm day. They're already out here.
That's a great point. So Steve brought up something, and you know this is going to be more the way that I roll. So the National Institute on Minority Health and Health, disparities, they said that African American men are 20% less likely to go to therapy than other races.
You want to know why? You want to know why?
Yeah.
How many black therapists is it?
And that's
what can a white, I'm not trying to be racist, what can a white man tell me about a black man's world?
Right.
If you haven't been in my shoes, how can you tell me how to deal with stress?
Right. And I think you made a very good point where you were saying you need to, you made some kind of a reference to finding a therapist
that can relate to you.
Relate to what you're talking about. Yeah. And I think that's a great point. So you're on it. You have less therapists, less black therapists. You have a reluctancy in our community to go there. Then that leads to me to two things. One, you got to get with a community of people where you can have those conversations. So black men talking to other black men. And then two, I think that community for us, a lot of us is the black church. Not if you're going to one that's all about money, trying to make you rich and prosperous. But how many church where you can have men, whether it's the men's group, whether it's directly with your pastor, whether it's anything, that's an opportunity to talk to other black men and get some of this stuff off your chest. What do you think about that?
I'm gonna take like your church. How many churches are like that? And I'm not trying to knock. I'm just gonna use them. But St. Paul's, I can't walk up to the pastor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I can't just walk up to them. It's like 1,000 people. We don't have a connection, so I can't be really connected with my pastor or deacons. And then a lot of the big mass churches, they're all about money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I can't really confide in them.
Yeah. And that's a great point. I think that the same due diligence that you have to put into finding a therapist would be the same.
You got to find a church.
You got to do with the church. Steve, same question, basically. And you already kind of alluded to it, but is that, in light of the fact that we probably, as black men, are not going to go to therapy as we need to, is the church another answer for that issue?
Yeah, I mean, I believe it is. Will's exactly right. Like, I could call your dad on the phone right now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I could call. So it's like the community I'm in, I have access more so than a member of a church of 10,000 members, because he's right. I mean, I go to a mega church here in Charlotte and I can't go up. I can't call my pastor on the phone, but the church has resources, and the resources can be a program that your church started, or the resource can be a person. I mean, if one of my church members said, "Man, I'm really looking for a therapist," I can say, "I know a guy," or they can go to the ministers, whatever ministry. But yeah, the church is a big factor. Some bros get their therapeutic sessions at the barbershop. You
Yeah.
know that, and
That's
that's
a good
good
point.
for some people. You know, dudes cutting here, man, don't do that, bro. That's stupid. And like,
Mhm.
man, you know what? That might be stupid. And some dudes are simple like that, and they can move on and vent. But some people, some brothers have deeper issues that go years and years and years in the past, and they need literally professional help. So
Yeah.
the church is a big, huge factor in that, because the church is a massive resource.
Yeah. Hey man, you know, that's unfair because people like me can't go to the barbershop and get good advice because
Yeah, you can. You still got a beard.
Yeah, man, you get that thing rounded, shaped up, man. You all right.
That's funny. Well, look, fellas, our time is gone, but I'm gonna give both of y'all a last moment to, you know, just talk about the situation. If you were going to give Will Smith or Chris Rock some advice right now, based on everything that you've seen, because I know that that's the topic of the day. So we're just gonna let you hit that and then move on. Will, we're gonna start with you. If you won't give either one of them brothers some advice, what would you say, man?
My advice is to get rid of Jada. That's my advice to Will. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, let's keep it 100. He brought nothing but stress for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Rock, keep doing what you're doing. Chris Rock did nothing wrong, in my opinion. You brought a comedian to the Oscars to lighten up the crowd, which he did, and out of all the person, one person messed it up for everybody.
Steve,
listen, I ain't in neither one of their house. Like, I'm not in their house.
Yeah, yes, you are. You see Red Tabletop. That's their house.
That's my point. And they don't pay none of my bills, but what I do know,
you know their household.
They need to go ahead and move that red top table, put it in the garage, tell the cameraman to leave, close the door, and stop letting the public in their business. And they have to stop putting the public in their business individually, collectively, in the family. It's like it's just show business. It's like everything is not a show for the people. And then I read in an article that they're going to talk about this at another Red Table Talk.
No, you read in the article that Jada said they won't go talk about it into the Red Table Talk.
Hey, it's not the world's business. And one thing, Chris Rock, he's a comedian. He didn't know about her diagnosis. He didn't know. And, you know, comics have a dial. Like, okay, I can turn this up or turn it down. You know, the way Will Smith behaved, he behaved like Chris Rock said something really sexual or inappropriate to Jada. That's how we reacted. That's how a lot of brothers would if it was that inappropriate. It wasn't an inappropriate joke. And Chris Rock might need to talk to somebody about that, because this video is going nowhere. And Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, they need to turn the cameras off, and they need to fix themselves out of the public side, because if they continue to do it, it's just going to get worse. And to me, I can give my opinions all day, but they're toxic, and it's public.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way to. I mean, listen, I appreciate both of your input and your perspectives on this. This was a great conversation. We passed our time. I'm gonna say one thing, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. And the only thing that's really been disturbing for me, regardless of how you feel about this, is that when Will Smith gave his
apology,
his speech, he said one thing that was really disturbing that we often say. And it was basically, and to sum it up, he basically said, the devil gets in there. And I'm going to sum that up as when people say the devil made me do it. That excuse doesn't work. So regardless of how we feel, whether it's mental health or whatever, or even in your personal life, the devil doesn't make you do it. And we got to stop using that excuse as Black men. We got to stop using that excuse as Black people. We got to stop using that excuse as just people in general, as Christians. The devil don't make you do it. And we need to figure out how, wherever we're going to go from that point, we got to figure it out. Fellas, our time is gone. I thank you. Please join us again. This has been Impact 2022. Thank everyone for the comments. As always, we'll be here next week, continuing the conversation. Thank you. And